This is Dr. John Delony with Ramsey Network. What up? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're being smart. And we're back with the one and only Miss Erica Young, the smartest person either of us will ever talk to today. This is awesome to have you back. She is an engineer, a longtime Ramsey preferred coach. And now we're going to get into the good stuff today.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch the last two videos, make sure you go watch them. We are building to this very moment right here. We left you on a cliffhanger last time, and now it's time. It's good. So, I love talking to people whose job is talking to other people. Mm-hmm. I have a passion for helpers who help other people. I like to describe stress like a brick in a backpack, right? So, we all carry around bricks in our backpacks. Some of those are from childhood, some of those are from systems, some of those are from any number of places. We got bricks in our backpack. Yeah. And when we are taking on debt, when we are struggling in our marriage, we are carrying those things. Mm-hmm. And as a coach, your job, somebody comes to you with their backpack and they just drop that sucker on a table and say, help. And your job is to help people take those bricks out of their backpack and in many ways carry those for people. And I used to only think that was for coaches or for psychologists or for counselors, for lawyers. But over the last few months, I've expanded it much bigger. Husbands carry the bricks of their wives and their kids, and moms carry the bricks of their children and their children's friends, and kids carry the bricks of their friends. And so this is something that we can all hear and listen to. The last 3 or 4 months have been heavy for a financial coach, right? And so day after day, minute after minute, hour after hour, you're taking Zoom call and racing off over here to have a socially distanced conversation with, right? And at the same time, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a community member. That's a lot.
Sure.
And so walk me through what the last few months have been as you are carrying your backpack and you're also like, yeah, I'll carry yours. And suddenly, you got a lot on Erica Young's back.
Yeah. I actually thought I had to really dive in and show up for my community like right away. As soon as we shut down and I realized that this was going to be here for a minute, I just started sending all the newsletters and having Zoom calls and having a happy hour with my community who follow me and got into action, doing things on Sunday. Never do that. Right? The evenings started to be taken and my husband was like, you're busier than ever. It's because I did it to myself, first of all.
Okay.
But I wanted to show up and I started doing that for a couple of weeks. And it was great. I got a lot of good response, but I realized that instead of allowing that backpack that they have to be theirs, that I was taking those bricks on, that I thought that was my responsibility because of the role that I play. And, I would challenge it to say, I want to help you figure out how to take yours off, like leave it at the feet of Jesus and not me take it on, right? Because I wanted to, be present and help and give resources and all of that, which is good, but I didn't make space for, me to do a whole lot of processing either.
So helpers are often two things. One, folks who become helpers, coaches.
Yeah.
Are often those folks in their homes and their communities that people rely on all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
My guess is you can't make it out of church without somebody being like, hey, while you're here, you got a second? Hey, my son's in town. My daughter-in-law needs right? And that's just kind of your life, right? Probably sitting at a restaurant and someone stops and says, hey, I need to talk to you about it. Like, that's just kind of the nature of who helpers are that find their way into a helping profession, right? The second thing is the underbelly of the helping professions is that it makes me feel good. I get some value out of this. And the temptation for helpers is to get their identity or their validation or their clicks of worthiness from I help somebody else, right? How are you managing that?
It's a lot. I mean, it's overwhelming. It's exhausting.
Let me back out. Is that true in your world?
It
like
is.
That you're accountable and that it feels good and you got to fight yourself?
I enjoy it. I love showing up for people. I love being that encourager. I mean,
where does that come from? Were you that way as a kid?
Absolutely. I was a cheerleader.
Okay. All right.
It goes way back. I love that. I love putting a smile on someone else's face. But sometimes your cheeks are hurting, right? Like, I mean, there are ramifications to that. And
or when their smile is at the expense of your smile, right?
well, yeah, and then when my husband says, "What do you have left for us?"
Oh.
That's real talk. Like, he said that for me a couple times, and I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Because if I'm giving to everybody else all the time and I don't have anything for my family, or I'm worn out and I just want to veg out in front of the TV, perform numbing behaviors, scrolling and all the things, then am I showing up enough for those that really matter, or for myself even, right? And so just that's has to become a part of the self-care, for sure.
So how, she went there, so that's where we're going to go. So it's been my experience that particularly brilliant, serving, professional women who are also moms, who are also wives, they find themselves in a particularly messy situation because there is never an off switch.
Sure.
There's never, like, whether it's culturally or whether it is just expectations that people put on themselves or that others assume they're going to put on themselves, there is no off switch, right? And so you get done taking care of your professional world, and now you've got the expectation to take care of all this world too, right? And this idea of taking care of you becomes the last priority that just gets rolled over to tomorrow. That thing on our list that we just circle and we'll do it tomorrow.
Right.
What are signals for yourself that you've left Erica Young out of the equation?
Yes. Well, I crashed and burned one day.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, there was a specific Thursday where I was nippy with my family. I was not friendly with my dog. He was just trying to help, right? And I was not, present. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to, show up. I mean, I wanted to hide in my basement and just do nothing in the dark. And when I, had that moment, and there were tears, and there were, just this whole, I just felt that anxiety, that stress, that, all of that coming up, and I'm like, this is too much. I mean, it was a lot. And I realized I was tired. I wasn't sleeping enough. I wasn't eating well. The Corona snacks got me, right? My workouts weren't effective or non-existent several days. I was staying up late, and that's not good for me. I'm not an nighttime person. And so when a lot of those things began to get out of whack, it just hit me that day. The best thing that, I could say is, I reached out to my community. I told my family I need a minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm nippy. I get it. I heard that. Please leave me alone right now. I asked for it. And then I asked, some friends of mine, hey, are you guys experiencing this? And someone asked me, are you working out? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going through the motions, right? And it's not producing anything for me. And so I switched it up. I switched it up and did something different and got some fresh air and, did some things that I don't normally do in order to really see it from a different perspective and have some self-care that might not have been normal for me.
It is like you're a rare person that has the self-awareness enough to know to look at their loved ones and say, hang on a second, I'm not going to be my best me, I need to go step away for a second. And that you've got people who love you that honored that space, right? Was that an easy thing for you to do? Was that a hard thing for you to do?
Well, I had to recognize it first.
Okay.
Right? So.
And did you recognize it because somebody called you on it, or did you know?
Yes.
Okay.
My teenager was like, Mom's a little off.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just rare.
But the common thing for a parent to do when a kid calls them out is to be like, well, if you would just, but you didn't do that.
I didn't. I actually honestly say that when my kids say something, I really have to listen because I'm not perfect. I have never been a parent of a 20-year-old, right? So clearly, I don't know everything about being the parent of a 20-year-old. So when they say, hey, Mom was a little, did you hear that? And she didn't know I heard her. I heard her like in the course of the day, and I was like, here we go. Let me just get myself together because I'm lashing out. I'm not being productive in my role right here. It's not working.
So you said a couple of things that differentiate you from most people I work with and I meet with. You were faced with a set of challenges that you wanted to meet that lift you up, right? And in doing so, you ended up carrying a lot of burden and a lot of heaviness in your home and in yourself. I love this picture of like, I want to go sit in the dark in my basement, which is a great metaphor for depression, right? That's what that is, right? And if you don't have a dark basement, you go there anyway, whether that's Tiger King again or whether that's scrolling. Right. We all have our own dark basements, right? But you have a community around you that you allow to speak into your life.
Yeah.
You've got a series of actions, whether it's working out, whether that is calling people that you know heal you. And number 3, you went to a mirror first. Like, what am I bringing to this that's probably getting me out of whack? How did you get there? That's a hard place for most grown-ups to be.
Get to the place where I can recognize that?
Like, if I look around at folks in the pandemic, the world's on fire, all this crazy stuff, the last place people are going is to the mirror and saying, what am I contributing to the negativity?
Yeah, true. Well, the thing is how if I can't show up, you know, the way I want to show up so that I can bring my best self to the world, then I have to look inward. I have to do that because, you know, it's going to take more energy to climb over and to help other people if I'm not in the right headspace, if I'm not in the right, you know, me version, right? And so the best part self for me.
Did you ever have moments when you weren't able to show up that showed you that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we probably can have those moments every day, right?
Okay.
We can probably have those every week where, you know, something's off. Let me reset. Let me go back. Let me go look in the mirror. Who are you really trying to be? Let me go, you know, read that scripture again. Let me, you know, get some good content into me so that I can show up the best way possible.
Gotcha.
And so we can feel that. And sometimes I feel it with clients.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm there with clients and I'm like, ooh, this doesn't feel right. Are you okay? Yeah. Are we okay? And we have to do that reset. Because if they're arguing, for instance, on the call, something went amiss to where we're to the point where we're actually arguing right now, or they're arguing between them. And so let's figure out where did that come from? What's behind that? Because there's more to that story. And so I want to make certain that we re-engage in the way we need to re-engage. So I have to do that internally first.
And that's a way of showing that you bring grace and dignity to a conversation, and someone comes at you full, you're able to feel somebody coming at you. They start to argue with your math, or, but I can't do this, or you don't understand, or whatever the excuse is.
Right.
And you are confident enough in yourself, in your spirituality, in your relationships, to know that's not about me.
Yes.
You're not coming at me. You're coming at your past self. You're coming at your shame. You're coming at your bad decisions. And my job is to help shoulder some of that, but to walk with you.
Yes. Well, one of the biggest things that I've learned in coaching, this is huge. I learned this years and years ago in training, actually. A gentleman, Russ Carroll, was one of our trainers in our coach training, and he said, you have to wash your hands between clients. And so I visualize myself washing my hands of the drama, the stress. Like, I have to give my nuggets, I have to give my encouragement. I can't be attached to their outcomes. I have to give them the tools, the resources, the ideas, the hope, the inspiration,
I love it.
and then wash my hands, because they've got to take the action.
Yes.
They have to take the action. If I take it on, then I'm carrying their backpack again, right? And so I just envision myself washing my hands between the clients, because then that way I can move on and be fully present for that next person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would recommend that moms and dads do that.
Oh, yes.
Wash your hands of work before you get home and engage your husband or wife.
Yeah.
If you have a hard conversation with one of your kids, wash your hands before you go engage with your other kids, right? If you just kicked the dog, wash your hands before you go talk to the mailman. Or you're driving home and somebody from work calls and says, hey, I'm not going to get it done till tomorrow. Right as you pull in and your heart rate gets up, wash your hands before you go say, hey, family, right? Don't bring that stuff home.
And it's not faking it. It's not even, it really is just not taking on
That's right.
whatever that previous moment was. Don't make it internal to you. You can't own it.
And so something we say on this show all the time is, I get to choose who hurts my feelings.
Yes.
I get to choose who takes away my dignity and respect. And I get to choose how I treat people. That's
good.
a choice.
It is. And I choose.
You are living those things in action. Oh, what a gift. Thank you so much. My head's blown. My heart's full, so thank you for being here. Tell everybody where they can find you. All of the internets.
Yes. You can find me at tailormadebudgets.com and on LinkedIn, Erica Young, as well as Instagram, tailormadebudgets.
I will follow her as soon as this is over. You should too. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Follow me at John Delony, or follow her. If you have to follow somebody today, follow Tailor Made Budgets. This is ridiculous. It's so great. Thank you for being here.
So good to be here.
Take care. This is Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Network. Be nice. Be more kind. Talk to you soon.